Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. So for today's sessions, we actually have a very special guest or special panel to join us for today. So before that, I'm Nazirah Mat Russ. So I will be your moderator for today's exciting RIU podcast episode, which is on journal publication. Okay, so first of all, before we introduce our panel today, okay, so of course when we talk about the journal publications, either you are a seasoned researcher, probably. So I probably a seasoned researcher because together with when we compare with the nature of CFS, so probably it is by season because it is not compulsory for us to publish a paper. Okay, however, this episode might be interesting for us to share because if according to the demand for the publishing a paper from the staff is actually keep increasing. So that's why we invite our special panel today, which is who is Associate Professor Dr. Asyraf from UMPSA. Okay, so welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
So how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Nazirah.
Okay.
It's good to be back to my alma mater, and also I've served I think around 9 years here in CFS.
Yeah, of course. So talking about Dr. Asyraf is actually not a stranger to CFS community, right?
Yes, correct.
So Dr. Asyraf also part of the CFS community back then in the
last was January 2019.
2019 until 2000?
No, I work in since 2010 until 2019.
Okay, so you left CFS around 2019.
Correct.
Going to UMPSA.
Yeah.
So probably due to the journal publication opportunity?
Yes, one of it, of course.
Yeah, okay. So that's why for me, Dr. Asyraf is actually the right one, okay, to join us today for our topic, which is again on journal publication. Okay. So talking about journal publications, we do understand that it is not easy to publish a paper, right?
Yes, it depends on where you publish it.
Where you publish it.
Yes.
Okay. So talking about the publish of paper, of course there is there's a journey behind that not everybody understand.
Correct.
Okay, so before we move on in detail towards probably the challenges and then where you want to publish a paper depends on the journal itself, right? Depends on the publisher. Okay. So how many papers so far you already published, Dr. Asyraf?
Okay. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Nazirah, for inviting me today. So it's good to be back. It's like what we call sirih pulang ke gagang. All right. So one of the reasons that I left CFS IIUM is because better opportunity to go into research.
Yeah.
And so far during my 5 years in UMP, Alhamdulillah, I have published more than 100 Scopus Index publication.
Masya Allah. Yes. Okay, so that's why I mentioned this is the right person for us to share the journey behind the journal publication, right? Okay. So in your opinion, how do we want to publish, if let's say I want to follow your step to publish about 100 journal article in the Scopus in that journal, which is we understand that one is in ranking, high ranking, right? Same with the WS Scopus or ERA. So what is the key step in order to produce a good published paper?
Okay, all right. There will be many answers, but to me, for you to get published in high impact journals, right? And high impact journals is usually when we call Scopus Index and Web of Science Index. There are many other index like ERA, MySites. Yeah? But for you to penetrate into Scopus and Web of Science Journal is for you to have a good writing skills. That's number one. Okay? Number two, if you want to penetrate good high impact journal, you must have a good methodology. When you write the paper, your method that you applies in your paper is novel, meaning everybody is the current thing that people are doing. If you use 10 years, 20 years backdated methodology, people will not see that as original, right?
Yeah, sure.
In most journal, high impact journal, what the editor sees is the originality. What value can you bring to the journal, right?
Okay.
even though, just a disclaimer, even though I've published more than 100 Scopus index papers, I also got rejected many times.
So that's very interesting.
If I got 100 published papers, I probably got rejected more than 200 journals.
Okay.
Got rejected, submit
again.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a very interesting point.
Yes. Some people they got demotivated even though they got rejected 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, that's right.
For your record, probably I mentioned this to my workshop or my bengkel that I conducted. My record for one single paper that I got published, you know how many times?
How many?
28 rejection.
Wow. Okay, but still
27 rejection. It got published in my 28th journal. That was data during my PhD 2018. I submitted 2019, 2020 until it got published in 2023.
Okay,
Yes.
quite a long journey because
Quite a long journey.
Talking about the feeling disappointed, I do agree with you because when we talk about especially a new researcher, newcomer,
Yes.
when they receive the feedback from the reviewer, normally they will think that feel regret, feel demotivated, so they don't want to continue again. So what is your advice to them, to the newcomer?
To early career, we call early career academics. For you to stay in the game, I always treat publication like a game.
Okay.
You know, when you play a game, when you play and you died or game over, would you still like to play again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nature of game. So when we do publication, when we treat it as game, you will do all over it again for until you get succeed achieving your goals. That's how you must treat publication is. And one way is you must have that passion, that passion and patience. Both, passion. Passion is like the semangat and patient kesabaran. So both of these must come together. To get rejected, you must come back up, and you when you have that passion, and with the right methodology, with the right writing, with the right mentor, you can get it published. I believe that because during my first year of getting PhD, I also take a lot of challenge, probably around 2 or 3 papers only. But until right after gain momentum, when we gain momentum, then it's like you are opening the floodgate. It's easier. Now I think much more easier to get published. Yep.
So thank you for, I think for, if let's say we compare, let's say you at UMPSA, so probably publish a paper is a requirement, right? Okay, to what we call probably to increase the salary. That's part of your KPI.
Yes, correct.
So however, at CFS Foundations, at CFS, we don't have that kind of extra. Probably that one is just an extra point. If you want to do it, then just
not
do
a requirement.
it. Yeah, not part of the requirement. So I believe the second point you mentioned just now is suitable. Right, for CFS staff, in order to motivate them to publish more paper, right? Okay. So, in your opinion, how do we, like say here we focus more on the teaching and learning? So, how does the journal publications can
right.
how do we relate between teaching and learning with the journal publication? How does it benefit the staff?
Okay, I believe even though we are publication is not a requirement for us. It's not a KPI. Our annual KPI does not depend on publication, only on teaching. But believe me, I believe that how many staff do we have in CFS now?
300 plus 300.
300 plus.
Yeah, 300 plus.
Among these 300 staff, I believe at least 10% who like to publish.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And they probably did not find the right way, the right strategy yet. And if we can provide them the way to publish, the right method to publish, they can publish. And if that's those who like to publish. Yeah, and if we set some requirement, and I believe CFS set some criteria for promotion. Those who want to get to 54, they need to publish.
Yeah,
right?
One of the bonus.
But so at least they look at it, And it doesn't mean that when you publish, it doesn't look at all. the CFS considers it. So if we provide this criteria, I believe another easily 20 to 30%, if they know how to publish, they will get published. They will publish. Right? It's just we need to expose to staff on how the correct way, the motivation, the benefit of publication. Right? And I'll say this, when I look at top researchers in the world, or in Malaysia at least, in UMP, and also I've known some of the top authors in Malaysia, what motivates them is when they look at their H index. Do you know H index?
Yeah.
H index is something, is a measure of the researchers' quality and quantity of publication.
Reputation, right?
Reputation, right? And this H index, it is viewed throughout the world, right? So, if they get to know this and they have their own H index, this will be a pushing factor. They will be motivated if they know that.
Happy to produce
more. You know, when they publish papers, there's an indicator like to show that they are good researchers. Like when you play chess, those who play chess, they have the FIDE ranking. FIDE ranking is to show the reputation in the world. It's same like researchers. When they're able to look at their H index, that will be a key motivation.
So talking about the H index just now, so how do we increase the H index itself? Because sometimes it's based on the how many paper you produce and how many
citation we receive.
Citation.
Okay. Simply, H index is if you have 10 papers, right? If you have 10 papers, how many papers does Nazirah have? Let's say
I assume let's say 10.
Let's say 10, okay? And you have these 10 papers, and these 10 papers, each of them having 10 citation.
From the same paper?
No, all 10 papers,
all
each
10 papers?
individually have 10
each
citation,
has 10
meaning
citation.
your H index is 10.
So from each paper, 10 citation.
10 citation. If you have 20 papers, let's say, but only this 10 paper receiving 10 citation, meaning your H index is still 10, even though you have 20 papers.
Okay, so it's very difficult, right?
Very difficult. It's very difficult.
So those who have a high H index, meaning that it's a very good.
It's very good, right? If you, I don't know if you have ever heard of the Elsevier Stanford top 2% scientists that comes out every
There's so
September.
many things I need to learn more from Dr. Asyraf probably.
Okay, that is an indicator of the top 2% in the world. So in the Scopus database,
Scopus, okay.
The top 2%, the Stanford they limited to top 20% only, top 2% only.
Top 2%.
Top 2%, and this is based on the citation without the self citation. And H index is one of the requirements as indicator into calculating the top 2%.
Wow. So how about Dr. Asyraf?
Alhamdulillah, I got into it last year.
2%?
Top 2%.
Wow. I tepuk sikit lah.
In my faculty, only two researchers received the top 2%. So H index is one of the indicator of this top 2% scientists in the world.
Okay, so talking about Scopus just now, is it when we mention Scopus, WOS also included part of it or different?
Some people say, what is Scopus? What is Web of Science? Okay, simply said, Scopus and Web of Science is the top 2 indexing body. Okay, indexing body. Indexing body. Like Malaysia, we have MySite, but that's also in Malaysia. They index Malaysian journals. But Scopus and Web of Science, they index all the journals that is eligible to be indexed in their database. So it's not it's independent. The two body are independent. So if you publish in one journal, it may be indexed in Scopus but not in Web of Science. Right? The best is to make sure that the journal is indexed in both Web of Science and Scopus, because it will be included in your record that can be viewed worldwide.
Okay, so there are two different bodies, not
two different bodies. Okay. The higher is Web of Science. Usually, most of the time, for researchers in the world, H index, their H index in Web of Science will be lower than H index in Scopus, because it's more harder to penetrate in Web of Science. So they will be much lower in Scopus.
Okay,
In Web of Science than Scopus.
But for me, if able to produce a Scopus is more than enough.
Yeah. Scopus is more than enough.
I mean, my side pun is still okay for
My side
for
still okay
Malaysian
for early
journal.
career.
Yeah.
But I think for you, Dr. Nazirah, you should aim for Scopus and above.
Inshallah, after this session, I will follow you. But talking about, we talk about the numbers of how many paper you publish, right?
Okay.
But this might be negative, perception. You produce many paper, but sometimes you just put behind your, or under a drawer. Sometimes that people don't refer
value
don't value your publication, don't refer to it, because I've seen there's one opinion from someone but they talk about the sciences research. You do experiment, you produce something, you innovate something, however at the end
end up in drawer,
or just in your PhD thesis only. So what's your opinion regarding to this kind of perception?
Okay, some of it are true, but not entirely.
Yeah.
Because when you produce scientific publication, in your field, there must be someone who reads it. For example, I published one paper on Green Hotel. Green Hotel. So what's the benefit of Green Hotel? So when I published Green Hotel, currently I think the paper has been read by 20,000. Download 20,000, meaning throughout the world they have read this paper. So when they read about green hotels, the global society, they will see that the best practice, what is green hotel, and they will get the idea to act more pro-environmental behavior. So that contributes to the larger community on what is green hotels. That's one of the example. So of course, scientific production will not be as entertaining as a gossip newsletter, tabloid newspaper, of course. But it serves its own specific community. There will be readers that will gain benefit from it. Yeah, I believe that. Of course, but of course, academic papers are not well perceived as entertainment papers, but they have their specific crowd that read the paper, as long as the data in the paper is not fabricated.
Sure. That one is very important, right? When we talk about research paper, public paper, no plagiarism, right?
No plagiarism.
And no
because of course now we have the issue
data.
of AI, generative AI, ChatGPT. This is also a problem in the academic community. There have been certain authors got caught using ChatGPT and it was not discovered by the editor and the publisher.
Oh, that's too bad.
So that's bad. That's bad. You must, as a researcher, as a writer, we must have our ethical in mind. When we publish, we must make sure that the writing is our own writing. We can get the idea from ChatGPT. We cannot say that don't use at all. We can get the idea, but the writing, the olahan ayat we say, the way you write, it must be from your own.
Sure. Yes. Because we as a human, the technology depend on us, right? Not us depend on the technology.
I always say that we must, like the Batman and Robin, the ChatGPT must be the sidekick. We must be the hero at front.
Yeah, sure. We must be the Batman.
Like ChatGPT, We must be the forefront. The ChatGPT should be the sidekick.
Yeah, sure.
They will not overshadow us. We are controlling the writing. That's the way it should be.
Talking about that one, use ChatGPT and talking about plagiarism, I believe sometimes certain researchers, they like to repeat the same data. Sometimes they just change the title and they use the same data, which is not right in terms of the ethics.
Not entirely. They can put it at different perspective, because in journal paper we can write based on different perspective based on the same data. But you cannot publish the same actual papers in one journal and then you rephrase without changing the data, without changing the findings, and you publish in another journal. That's not ethical.
Okay.
You can get caught by the editors.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So talking about the AI just now. So how about you, Dr. Asyraf? Have you been used the AI to help you in publish a paper, writing a paper?
Okay. I use AI to provide me ideas. Sometimes when I got, when we write, we got blocked sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
So At that time, then I asked ChatGPT, so what do you have any ideas on this topic? But I can personally say here and confirm that I never use ChatGPT or generative AI to copy the writing into my journal publication. No. But I get the ideas. And I always say this to my students. And we can check also to turn it in. For instructor, we can check the AI similarity. And now anything above 20 will be flagged as AI. So you must keep it below 20%. So I always say to my students, do not use AI in writing thesis and papers.
Sometimes
we can get.
Yeah, sometimes we can identify, right, the ChatGPT sentence and so on. It's too perfect.
Yeah. Imperfection is the perfection. Actually, when you write too perfect, it does not look perfect because we know that the writing is not from you.
Yeah.
We can know the flow of writing. You know that
the words
the words
bombastic. Yeah.
Some of the words are too bombastic. It has been discussed. The word delve, DELVE.
Okay.
If you see papers using delve words, you must check because it probably comes from generative AI.
So now we can check. We can avoid using DAF.
Delve,
the DAF term or words. Okay. So other than that, have you know any other term that probably we can identify? This is from AI generate.
Basically, if you heard any unfamiliar jargon, that's probably But for academics, probably yes. But students, in their capability of writing, their vocabulary not that high, right? So if they use certain words that are not that are rare, so you should go and further and check whether this is really their writing or not. Because students are very advanced today. Even we are more advanced than us.
Yeah, sure.
When they use generative AI, they can use another software to counter, to humanize it.
Yeah, to humanize.
So it happens. It happens.
Because now TikTok also have, teach you so many things, right? To humanize the ChatGPT sentence and so on. So of course we living in the today's world, so we should move forward.
That's the challenge.
A step ahead.
Yes. and believe me or not, there are some trainer out there that use this kind of way, which is for me is questionable because when you put it into writing, into academic writing, you use ChatGPT and you humanize it, and then you can finish your paper in 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, sure.
You are defeating the purpose, right? You lost the human touch. So and sooner or later, we can know whether the writing is original from the author or not.
So what do you think if, let's say now, for PhD student, right? So they probably use ChatGPT or any AI to help them. So what do you think in terms of, I think that's the most important part for Viva, right? To make sure that that's the idea, the original idea from the student itself, right? Okay. So but nowadays they actually, I think, I'm not sure which university, they try to reduce the parts of the Viva. I'm not sure for what reason. So what do you think?
Okay.
Should we still have a Viva, the old method?
Okay. To tell you the truth, I think in most public universities, they have not have a solid framework to counter AI, right? Because it's very rampant today. So as PhD student or any of the staff are doing PhD, you can use AI, not that I'm telling that you cannot use at all.
Yeah, sure.
But you must use it with a proper guideline, and the actual writing should be from you. You get the idea.
Should have the ethics.
You have the ethics. There are many. I can see ChatGPT, Jenny AI, Perplexity. All these are very useful. I use it also. But make sure that your writing that you publish, thesis, paper publication is from you.
But talking about AI, I have used to, to check, find me any paper for me to refer.
Yeah, that's good.
However, the paper that the ChatGPT produced is a long time ago, and it is not there sometimes.
Yeah, and you must also know the strength and weakness of this generative AI. For example, ChatGPT, if you ask what papers, the actual paper, they actually will not tell you the right one. That's the weakness of ChatGPT. You must use other AI. If you use Genie AI, then they will give you the correct one.
Okay.
You must also know this different function of AI, because it will developed by different people and they have different capabilities. So you must know there are so many AI. I also don't know all of them, but they have different strength and weakness. You must know one AI should be they have their strength that can serve you one or two purpose, not everything ChatGPT. No.
Okay. So if you go back to journal publication, right?
Yeah.
So there's one step when you submit the paper. There's what we call the peer reviewing process.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is after the process, based on my experience in charge the conference and so on. The researcher itself. So probably there's a newcomer for the research world. So they feel, is it true the comments? Is it right what the reviewer comments to them? But sometimes they feel like they say to me that they don't want to make a correction based on this reviewer comment, because probably it's not true. So how do we explain to them in terms of this?
Okay, let me give you what I experienced. I've published one paper. When I submit to that journal, and when the revision come back, you know how many reviewer?
Normally 2?
8.
Okay.
For that journal,
that one,
8
for
reviewer.
Scopus in that journal.
Scopus Index. Yeah. Scopus Index and ESCI. ESCI is Web of Science also.
Okay.
8 reviewer with 72 comments. Right?
Okay.
That was the most. That was my record.
Yeah,
8 reviewer with 72 comments, and some give accept, some give minor, some give major, some give reject. So all these 8 reviewer, are they the same?
No.
They are conflicting reviews. So how do you deal with these conflicting reviews?
Yeah.
You must, first of all, any review that comes to you, you must appreciate them. You must say thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for providing me this input. If you disagree, you must refute. You must explain why you disagree with the reviewer.
Okay.
That's what I do. I refute them back and say that thank you, but from my view, or from this perspective, I think you are not right, or with a softened tone.
Yeah. So, is it okay for us to?
It's okay.
Disagree.
We can disagree because like 8 reviewer, there must be conflicting reviews, conflicting opinion, because there's some give accept, some give minor, some give reject.
If let's say those who accept with lesser than those who reject our paper, is it if let's say we try to counter their opinion, is it still have an opportunity to be published?
Yes, still got. You must know that when your paper pass the editor and goes to the reviewer, if you come back with two review saying that one minor revision, one reject.
No.
Most of the time, if you get minor and reject, the editor will give you major revision.
Okay.
Because if the editor let your paper go through the revision process, meaning the editor likes your paper.
Okay.
Editor is like the parents of the journal. If you want to marry the daughter of an analogy, you must take the parents' heart first. Tackle the parents' heart first. Same like editor is the parents of the journal.
Okay.
If they like your paper, if you like your paper, you're already halfway there.
Okay.
I have not many experience when I got past the reviewer, the editor, I got rejected. Ada jugalah some. I got after the revision process, got rejected. Got also, but most of the time, past the editor, 50-60% already there. Then how you revise your paper, how you give feedback to the reviewer based on a point by point basis. That determines whether your journal can get published.
Okay. So guys, remember, being rejected is not the end for everything, right?
No. Rejection is normal.
Yeah, normal.
Most of our papers 3-4 times rejection tu biasa.
Sometimes it takes how the longest duration to publish a paper.
Okay. I got published one paper in December that was submitted in November 2022. 2 years.
2 years,
2 years.
to get published.
Yeah.
Because researcher keep asking based on our experience inside the conference, when our paper to get published and so on, kan? So
Yeah.
within 1 month, satu bulan je dia dah tanya. So
1 month if you want to publish corpus Web of Science journal, okay, the fastest I got published is 3 months.
Yeah,
3 months. 3 months. 3 months is okay. It's quite fast.
Okay.
Not quite fast. It's very fast.
Yeah.
So normally, a normal journal that we can say is a fast publication process, 6-7 months is okay. It's good. It's good enough.
Okay.
That's why if you want to publish 2 papers per year, you must write 4 papers that year. Let's say assuming 50% efficiency, you send in 4 papers, you get published 2 papers. So that's a good percentage, 50%. So don't write papers, submit, and then wait, do nothing.
Okay.
When you submit, you write another papers. Submit another papers.
That's a good advice. So meaning that after this, guys, we need to set 4 papers.
If you want to publish 2 papers per year.
Okay. So to publish is okay.
Yeah? Two publication per year is good enough. In my faculty, 2 papers is a requirement for senior lecturers.
Is it minimum?
Minimum.
Requirement 2 papers per
2
year.
papers per year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one question. So kita tahu masa agak mencemburui. So I have one question I want to ask you. Because we talk about H index just now.
Yeah.
We don't understand to maintain the H index. We should focus on one research area only, right?
Okay, no.
Not need.
Not necessarily.
Okay, so
H index is based on overall of your papers. If you said about one field, there's another index we call G index.
G index.
G index is an indicator of a specific field. If you are in architecture, architecture or urban planning, you publish papers on this scope of area, your G index determine your correlation index in your field. H index, all your papers, if you publish psychology paper, mathematics paper, also can be included in H index.
In H index.
But it's good that you stay in one field.
Yeah.
But if you focus too much on your field, it's quite boring. For me, I'm in management. Of course, my degree in engineering, but now I focus in management.
Okay.
All my papers, even though are not that specific, my focus area was knowledge management in my PhD, but I focus now on business management, entrepreneurship, human behavior, business, all within business management.
Yeah, still relates.
Still relates.
Have the connection.
Yeah, in my top 2% that they publish, I was considered as in business management field.
Okay.
Because this field is quite a lot. It's quite a lot.
Because they said to be a well-known researcher, we should maintain in what research field or research area.
Yes, that's the best. If you can publish, if you can be expertise in one field, like say architecture also still good, right? You can focus like for example,
architecture, statistic architecture.
If you can focus on one, you master on that. But you can also publish other papers that relate around that area. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a saying, what you call it? Master, jack of all trades, master of none. But I think that you can be jack of all trades, master in one. Both. Take both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have so many interesting points and so many informations received from our today's episode with Dr. Asyraf. But one last question.
Yes.
Is it okay if we stay okay? What's your opinion if, let's say, my background is architecture and I want to really focus in something else? Is it will be a conflict later on when people, see my profile, graduate from architecture's program, however, my research more on the mathematics, for example. So is it to become a conflict and people might see, like the weak point?
If you want to divert, if you are able to divert, and be specialization, you specialize in that area. You can.
Okay.
For me, in my opinion, right?
So you just focus in the area.
Focus in the area. But for me, if you have many areas that you are well versed of, that will be better for you.
Okay.
Better than nothing. If you want to publish, if you can publish in any field, it's okay. But if you can publish in one specific field, that's even better. But if you have nothing, it's much more worse. So at least publish first, and then later on you determine your niche area.
Our niche area, the one that we probably master.
Master
right?
into, correct.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Asyraf. I think we received so many information for today's discussion, right? Okay, so first thing first, when we talk about just to conclude back, journal publication. So first thing first, you must have the motivation.
Motivation, passion, and passion.
Yeah, and then the ethics should be there.
The
Because
ethics
we
should
are
be there.
living in the world with the high technology,
Correct.
AI, and something like that. And also, last, your advice to the CFS community when we talk about the journal publications. Anything that you would say?
Okay. The best to publish is if you have something, you have data to publish. Right? For me, you don't have to wait for data. If you have anything, any ideas, go to classes, go to workshop, gain knowledge, and start publish. You know, when you start publish, you feel addicted to get published again.
Satisfaction is there.
You feel the satisfaction. So I believe, and I call upon all my friends that if they want to publish, start your publication journey, and you will find this a fruitful journey at the end of your academic career.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much once again, Dr. Asyraf. I think so many thank you. Okay, because
Thank
I think
you. Thank you for inviting me.
I received a lot of information for today's discussion on our podcast. And so guys, don't forget to subscribe. And also, if let's say you have any questions, you can share the question in the section comments. We will deliver to Dr. Asyraf for the answer probably. Okay?
Boleh, can. I can reply to in the
Yeah,
to the
sure.
comments.
Okay, boleh juga komen. Lupa pula. Malu lah. Apa newbie juga kata pada Ridwan for our first session back then. Okay. So I think that's all. Last but not least, thank you library and Assalamualaikum.